NBA basketball totals for Sunday. But before we get started with that, I got a couple munchkins here that want to say something to everybody out there. What do you say?
Merry
That's their Merry Christmas in their Japanese dialect. All right, thank you guys. Go ahead, get out of here. Merry Christmas. And Merry Christmas to all you guys. We got some NBA totals here to look at. We really ended the end of last week on a really bad note, but still we're 97 and 95 on the year, so we can't complain so much. We got to do better though. We got to increase that margin. So we're going to work really hard, to make some good assessments. I got 3 games on the card today. For you new guys, this is our NBA total segment where we look at the over or the under on the total set by odds makers. We try to beat that line. On top of that as well, I always want to remind you guys of a couple other things. The fact that we do have an NCAA basketball segment out there. That's going to be back starting tomorrow, though, because there's not really a lot going on today in NCAA hoops. And don't forget, you got SBR. We have all the odds, totals, sportsbook reviews, blacklist, all that good stuff's at SBR. So be sure to check us out. Let's jump into, let's get into some totals here. First one up we got today is Charlotte and Brooklyn. Oddsmakers have this at 216. Now, the first time they met up earlier this year, not even close to this number, but they did not shoot the ball very well, although the tempo was there, and I think the tempo is going to be there tonight. I'm going over the total on this matchup here with Charlotte and Brooklyn. You have a Brooklyn team that plays no defense. Right now, they're allowing 114.7 points per game. Charlotte's been pretty decent across the board, but check out some stats from Charlotte. Right now, they're allowing opponents to get up 88.9 attempts per game. That ranks 27th in the NBA. Brooklyn's going to just love that because they really like to get up and down the floor. They're getting up over 86 attempts per game. They're scoring at an okay clip, 106.1 points per game, and they love to shoot the three-pointer as they rank 3rd in the league in three-pointers attempted. Now, Charlotte, they're averaging 104.3 points per game. Not bad statistics overall. They're not a great offensive team, but that's not going to matter tonight against a Brooklyn team that plays zero defense. They rank pretty much, in the bottom 5 in just about every major defensive category, especially when it comes to opponent field goals attempted per game. They're allowing 92. Talk about pace. And they're also allowing the most field goals made per game from opponents at about 43 per contest. So I think this is going to be up and down. I like them to get over that 216. That should be a really entertaining game to watch between Charlotte and Brooklyn. Next one up, we got Indiana and Chicago. Right now, odds makers have it at 204. They've matched up twice this year, and both times they've gone over this total. They had 205 was their last matchup, and I'm going under this total, mostly because of Chicago. And I'll tell you why. First, let's talk about some stats. We got Indiana averaging 104.5 points per game. Chicago's averaging 101. Chicago defensively not bad, allowing 99.7. And I thought they hung with San Antonio the best they possibly could, and they just couldn't get it, at the end. Spurs are so tough. But they ranked 6th in the league in scoring defense. Indiana, not so great, 106.3 points per game. But that's not going to matter tonight because Chicago has proven, at least in the last 3 times they've been on the second leg of a back-to-back, they have not scored any points. They're averaging around 80, 90 points. That's it. Just check it out. Check out the second leg of their back-to-back, their last 3 contests. The last one was they scored under 70 or 69 points, I believe, versus Milwaukee on the second leg of a back-to-back. So don't expect for them to score a lot tonight. You got an Indiana team. They don't allow a lot of transition. They're really good at defending beyond the arc, but that's not going to matter either because Chicago can't shoot from beyond the arc, averaging just over 30%, and they rank last in the league in that category. Chicago defensively, though, they've been really good. For the most part, they're allowing 48.4% on 2-point shots. That ranks 7th in the league. And they've been okay defending from beyond the arc, ranking in about the middle of the league. Indiana, across the board, they're kind of a subpar team, right in the middle of the league, actually, most offensive percentages. The pace will be pretty good up tempo, but there's a reason why this is at 204, which is set lower than the 2 finals that we've already seen from these 2 clubs. I'm going under the total. I don't think we're going to see a lot of scoring from Chicago, and I'm looking at like a 103 to 93 sort of final there, I think. Something like that. All right, last one up we got is Dallas and New Orleans. Oddsmakers have it at 197, some places 197.5. Let me make sure there's no hook on that right now. I got a 197, and I'm going over. Now, they've met up just once this year, and the pace was really slow, and Dallas won 91-81. They both got up 77 attempts. That's well below what we're used to seeing. Now, Dallas, if you've noticed over the last couple weeks, they've kind of picked things up a little bit offensively. They're coming off a good win against the Clippers. Of course, it was out without Chris Paul, but still, win's a win. And, their tempo's not very fast. New Orleans, though, again, with Alvin Gentry, who I like to mention a lot, they do like to get up and down. Not as much as we've seen from him or them in years past, but they can still get up and down. Dallas right now, they're averaging just 94 points per game. New Orleans are averaging 102.6. So that doesn't get us close to this total. Defensively, neither of them are playing tremendously. We got Dallas is okay, but that's only because their pace is pretty slow. New Orleans, though, they're allowing 106.7 points per game. I expect Dallas to be able to score tonight. Dallas, they're allowing 99.6, which ranks fifth in the league, but that's because they don't go at a really fast pace, and teams kind of get bogged down with them as far as getting up and down the floor. Now, we got a Dallas team shooting-wise percentage, not great. They do shoot about 34% from beyond the arc. That's pretty decent. New Orleans, they rank at about the middle of the league in every defensive percentages, in all the defensive percentages, excuse me. And then, what I really like tonight, though, to see is for New Orleans at home to go ahead and push some tempo. I mean, you're talking about a 91-81 final last time they met, but yet odds makers have made this 197. And if you check the odds, they actually made this number 197 last time as well. This time, though, I do think they get over. New Orleans, not a bad shooting team from beyond the arc. They're shooting 34%, just like Dallas, but they do get up and down. They're averaging 87.5 attempts per game. That ranks fourth in the NBA. Dallas has gone really slow, but I think as they start to get healthier, Nowitzki's starting to get back, I think they're going to pick up the pace just a little bit, and they haven't been good defensively. Right now, they're allowing opponents to shoot about 40% from distance. That ranks last in the NBA, so expect New Orleans to score and for this to get over that 197. All right, quick recap of our NBA totals. We got Charlotte and Brooklyn over the 216 and what I think is going to be an absolute track meet. Indiana, Chicago under the 204 because Chicago off their back-to-backs have not been good in scoring the basketball at all. But defensively, they've been okay. And finally, Dallas, New Orleans over the 197. A Dallas team that's starting to get healthy. They're going to go ahead and probably go a little bit more up-tempo with a New Orleans team that likes to get up and down. All right, those are our three totals in the NBA, for Monday, December 26th. And let's hopefully widen that winning percentage margin these next few weeks. And I wish you luck on your picks today.